Cavalex's new Class 60 has been on the market for a few weeks now, and there has been one or two reports of issues with it, but what are my thoughts on this particular bit of kit? I've been lucky enough to get my hands on one, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a going over so I can tell you good people at home just what I really think about this model. So here we are then. This is the Cavalex Super Class 60. I don't know enough about the class to tell you why this is a Super Class 60, not a regular Class 60, but I'm sure we can find out and put some text somewhere as to the description why. I think it's got something to do with the output of the power and the fuel tanks. But anyway, this is the box. It's not new. This isn't even my locomotive. This was given to me to review by a work colleague. So without further ado, I'm going to get the box open and we're going to poke around and see what you get for your money from Cavalex. Because this is my first hands-on experience with a Cavalex model. Now I know this model's been out for a little bit of time already, and there's already been some reviews done by people and thoughts and things, and there's a few issues, etc. So let's not waste any more time. But before we go any further, it is worth mentioning that this is 0 to 14 sad onions. So just bear that in mind. If you're a sad onion, you know, just be aware of that. If you get the reference, by the way, then leave a comment. Anyway, let's get it out of its sheath and see what's what, shall we? Usual stuff inside the box there. Owner's manual, very good, okay. Well, there. Function list for the DCC stuff, that's really handy to have actually. So okay, that's one side. That's just because this is a used model. We'll put that away. Here we are. Now, first things first, guys. This here, this, for lack of a better word, this holster, this stand. I am a big fan of this shit. We need to see this more because the locomotive is essentially suspended in a pocket of air, and you'll see there's actually no foam touching the locomotive. And this is ideal. This means that all these tiny detail parts don't get damaged, in theory. Yes, it may cost the manufacturer a fraction of a few pounds more to make it this way, but it is a lot better, far better. So manufacturers, please take note on your high-end models, we want to see this. I know Dapple did it with their Hawthorne and Leslie 040, and there's a few other examples as well. So I want to see this more, okay? I'm paying the money, I want to see this. Cavalex, out the gate, first of all, we get points, so well done, just thumbs all round Alex and Cavan, well done boys. Anyway, let's get it out. Splendid. Okay, I'll put this over here for now against my television, that'll do, and here we have it. It's a splendid thing to behold, isn't it? But I'm gonna have to get out of this thing first. Just let me tip it upside down. Now, 2 screws at the bottom there. I have just a thing for doing this. Rather than doing this and then risking the model falling off, I have a thing just for this. Let me just grab the thing. The old service cradle. DCC Concept service cradle. One of the best things I ever got, honestly. Anyway, let's put that there. That's where we need to be, roughly. Move them out of the way there. So in theory, turn this upside down. Now, when that does eventually fall, it should fall into a nice, comfortable thing. And I can also just grip the side of the locomotive as well. So when it does let go, it isn't gonna smash and cascade and damage itself, which is really good. Now let's see which one of my screwdrivers wants to open this thing. Is it this one? Yes. Screwdriver the first, screwdriver the second, and we can feel the loco loosening now, and we're just gonna gently lay it into the cradle. There we are, splendid. Grab and squeeze, look at that. Perfect. Locomotive completely undamaged. Now we've got out of the box, let's be cruel and take a look at the Cavalex Super Class 60. Since we're already looking at the top of the model, we're going to check out the roof detail. So, as we can see, the vents on the mesh are actually super fine. And at first I thought it was just like a regular part of the model, but no, it is actually separately fitted, or so it appears to be. Again, the other roof detail is basic, but it's there, and the exhaust is done, I have to say, rather nicely. And of course the roof panel should just lift off somehow with a little bit of there we are. And this is a good idea as well. I think it was first seen on the Cure scale models, so I'm liking this. This plus this, you know, this is where we want to be. Magnets will feature later on. Nice speaker in there, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Let's put that back on there. Splendid. The front of the model. Now this has been fitted with front couplings, or the magnetic couplings. I forget which one of these are. But as you can clearly see, we've got a lovely front end there. And the Class 60s have got this presence about them. They're very bulky, very chunky, and very imposing, especially when you see them sort of thundering down the line there. And it's nice to see the shape really well captured. Even the glazing is just something so easy to overlook. But when you get closer, you can see inside the cab as well. Hopefully you can just about make it out inside there. It is splendid. Of course, moving along the side of the model, the meshing on the grills is exquisitely good. It's very, very, very fine, very good. The livery application is very good, and you can still see the doors marked out there as well. It's all looking very good. These handles don't really wobble around. I can't knock them off with my clumbering hands. Underframe detail's nice, it's all on there. You know, you can grab it, it's not falling off, that's good. You can pull at it like a child, it's fine. Fuel tank, all the under detail is on there nice and fine. Look, see, the poke test. Industry standard fingering. That brings us swiftly on to the engine room. Now the engine room has splendid detail within there, and it does have a light, which we're going to take a look at a bit later on. Now I want to see a person in there doing some maintenance, because I have seen drivers poking around in there when the loco's running, or parked up at a siding, or doing its thing. It'd be nice to get someone stood in there with maybe a torch or something, pissing about, having a look for, you know, an oil leak or something. I mean, you're gonna find an oil leak, aren't you? It's inevitable. So that's all the detail. Am I happy with it? Yes, it's very, very pretty, of course. It's quite a heavy little sausage and baggy. And in the baggy is a buffer, or yeah, I think you call it a buffer, wouldn't you? Now, if I can open this without, you know, ripping the bag, that's nice. And one thing that's really cool is the little hook moves, which I think is just so pointlessly, it's ridiculous, but it's accurate because the real thing does that. And it's finally done. You can even hook that round on there, look. So there's no great hardship. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, it's very simple. If you've got a model like this one, which currently has detail on one end, and on the rear, it has the old coupling and like a hole in it, like a slot. So of course it still moves around and does its thing. But if you have like a TMD layout and you want to have the model just sort of doing its thing, shunting backwards and forwards with all the detail on, it's real simple to do because all the detail has been fitted for you to these. And apparently I just get under here with a little bit of force and it comes straight off. Now clearly I'm not going to piss around with this because this isn't mine. But then all you would do is, in fact, no, do you know what? I'll do it on this end. I'll put that one back on, slide it over like that, and it just goes back on like that. It is so easy to do. Yeah, that's in there now. Goes on with a nice little click. That is brilliant. That is superb because you felt like an exhibition and you want your locomotive to look all nice and detailed and pretty and do the shunty thing in its TMD. When it goes offset, if you will, you can just quickly pop that off. In fact, can I do this without taking it off track, I wonder? I bet I can. Just sort of like unclip it, then put the coupling one on, shove a coupling in there, and the model's ready to swizz itself off and have a whirlwind adventure with lots of details on it. Right, that's enough of an overview. What I'm going to do now is try and get some track power on the layout, because at the minute it's not really much of a layout, it's just a board with some track on it. And I'm going to try and go through a couple of these functions and lighting setups because apparently there is quite a lot of them. And for what I saw this thing at various exhibitions, the cold start function is something to behold. So I'm going to go through it one by one and then we're going to discuss them, see how I feel about them. And of course there's going to be some more running shots as well. So here we are then, on the layout as it stands now. Well, it's not a layout at the minute, is it? It's just a test board, but here we are. Steel on steel, and we've got a list of CV functions. We have, I think, cold start. I'm not sure how to do cold start. I think you press release and then press again. Function 1, let's have a look. Here we are. Well, that's quite the lengthy startup sequence. That was well over a minute, or about a minute, should I say. So we have lighting functions as well. Let's see, pressing 0 brings on an headlight. F2 is a horn, or you can have that as a brake as well, depending on what's going on. F3 is a high horn. F4 is a low horn. F5 is drive lock, which we all know how drive lock works. You press that and then the engine revs up and the loco stays put, or vice versa. F6 is something called heavy train mode. Let's see that, shall we? So F6 is on. So this should, I think, do something with the acceleration. Let's have a look. Speed step 10. Interesting. Turning F6 off seems to reduce the engine revs again. It's quite nice having all the little brake valve releases as well. That's nice. It adds a nice ambience to the running of the locomotive. F7, F does flange squeal and what have you. Okay. Let me try this. Turn the points over because they haven't got motors on them yet. F9 lets you switch between what the lights do, so you do that. Pressing F9 just tends to wobble between the two. That's good. F10 is yard mode, which I'm assuming is all lights on. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's fine. Interesting. Let's bring it forward again. With F5 on, which is the drive hold. So that really lets you rev up the engine. The sound project's nice. I have to admit that. It really is a nice sound project. Stabling lights, that's F13. That just puts red lights on both ends, that's pretty cool. Shunting mode, pretty self-explanatory. Number 15 is coupler clank. Very nice. Complete with air brake, thing. Oh, when you turn it off, it does release as well. That's pretty funky. That's good. F16 cab light. Let's have a look at this then. Very good. F16 gives us a cab light effect. It's nice to see that it's directional and both cab lights don't just randomly come on. F18 AWS chest. Very good. F19 is a sound fader, so that's like in and out. F20 is a compressor. Oh, here we are. There we go. And I've somehow managed to activate hazard light, which is F22. Pretty cool. And it won't turn off now. There we are. F21 is a cab in noise, whatever that does. Let's turn the compressor off first though. F21 is the emergency brake. That sounds really nice actually. Then you've got like loads of settings for manual notching logic, but if you can use drive lock, that's probably the better way of doing that sort of thing. Parking brake, F26. Subtle, but it's there. Fire alarm. Yep. Or dinner bell, depending on your, you know. And compressed air blow off is F29, which I can't do because I've got a power cab. So if you want to do that, you are SOL, and radiator fans on and off. Right, what I want to do is I'm going to bring the model a bit closer to the camera and we're going to have a look at the engine room light, which is not something you can see too well here. I'm just going to turn the sound off as well. Okay, so the engine room light. Now, ordinarily on a model like this, an engine room light will just be a little tiny bulb in the side of a window or whatever. But this model, you can actually see through it. See there, look, you can see through the model, just like the real life counterpart. And I think that is absolutely worth, you know, making a fuss of. So, according to the instructions, to get the engine room light on, I need to press, which function do I press? F11. So let's see that come on. Look at that. Isn't that splendid? And you get the door opening sound effect, and you get the little light switch coming on as well. Lovely. That's superb. It's a shame that you don't get that little light switch noise when you turn like the regular headlights on. I would have thought that would have been quite a nice function to have there. Same with the cab lights as well. It's I think that's option 16, isn't it? It's nice having the cab lights come on, but there's no light switch button, sound effect, which, you know, it's very, very minor. It is a minor gripe to have with such a finely produced model. However, I would argue that if you've gone through this much trouble of making what is arguably one of the best models on the market today for modern image, and it is, you cannot really argue that fact. I mean, those horns are really on there. You know what I mean? Even all this separately fitted detail is superbly stuck on. But if you've gone through all that trouble to have a really good sound profile, why not have it so that the lights make a noise when they come on? You've gone through all that trouble and to make a beautiful interior, why not just have that light switch noise? Because you've done it for the engine room lights, which kind of just makes the engine room lights seem a bit like a gimmick in a way, but when they're clearly not, because they're a part of it. You know, Don't forget, boys and girls, you can visit Sawyer Models of Lee for all your model or railway needs. They have all the best models and all the gauges and scales you could ever need them from. And of course, scenery details and accessories for your railway to make it truly spectacular. And they're also celebrating their 11th birthday this year, and as such have commissioned a limited edition wagon, which can be ordered on their website right now. There's only 60 of them though, so bear that in mind. So whenever you're buying your model railway stuff, please do consider visiting Sawyer Models, either in store on the website or at a trade show as well. They're always going to be happy to see you. Just let them know that Iron Horse Railways sent you there. So what do we actually think then of the Cavalex Class 60? Well, clearly, from what I said before, I do like the model, and I think it does hit home in many areas, especially what the contemporary modeler expects to see from a premium price product, which this is. Now, Sonia is, from what I can gather, no longer available new, so you might be able to find one on the used market. Bear in mind, this was a limited edition version, so good luck trying to find one. This isn't mine, this is James's, so thank you, James, for borrowing me this model, mate. Superb bit of kit. I'll try and get it back to you in one piece, lad. My only final thought really is I really want to put it head to head with the Acura Scale version. Now, I know we have fans of Acura Scale and we have fans of Cavalex, and we have fans of both, and that's spot on. That's fine. But in a market where you have two companies making the same very unique looking little locomotive, I think it's important to put them head to head. So when Acura Scale drop their Class 60, I will do my best to get my grubby little hands on one of them, and I'll hopefully be able to borrow this one again from James, unless Cavalex want to send me one to a genuine head to head with. I don't know if they're up for that sort of thing. I'm certainly not going to pick any sides when it comes to picking a favourite, and it may well be just a very disappointing, they're both great models, pay your money, take your choice. What do you lot think at home though? Have you seen the Acura Scale production samples? Have you got a Cavalex Class 60? Yes, I know there's a few issues with the Cavalex being quite noisy. On a lot of models they have an issue with the gearing. But Cavalex are all over that. If you do have a noisy model, they will quite happily rush you the parts you need to take care of it. And I do believe if you send the model to them, they can take care of it for you as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure one of the lads from Cavalex are watching, so chaps, if you are, and I've got that wrong, please let me know and I'll make an edit in the comments. Or if you leave a comment as well, either Cavan or Alex, either or lads, let me know. But one thing this has done for me is it really made me excited to see what else Cavalex can cook up, because clearly both the chaps are passionate modelers, and that's one thing I can always get behind. There's a lot of attention to detail gone into this model, and not very many things quote unquote wrong with it. As I say, it would have been nice that if the sound profile had the light switch sound coming on, but that is a properly nitpicky thing to mention, like proper, like, yes, stuff to mention. It's not a make or break thing for this model, and if you've got one, you probably would never even notice the fact that it doesn't make a light switch sound. I'm just saying, it's nice to have it when you put the engine room lights on. Would have been nice to have it all the time. If the idea is to be truly immersed in the experience, then missing out on the light switch noise is probably quite important to a lot of people. Me, yeah, I don't really give a shit. But I have to mention it because I'm reviewing it. So here we are. Let me know in the comments, boys and girls, if you've got one of these bad boys and what you reckon to it. And until next time, do the like, comment, share, subscribe thing, all of that monkey jazz, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Apparently this has a cold, like, failed start option on it. So we'll, for true enthusiasm, let's get the hazard lights on. And then let's see if we can do this whole failed start thing. Now, apparently, when I just press F1 again, it should fire it back up. Let's see if it does it, shall we? That's really cool. Cheers guys, see you next time.